I don't like the term drag queen because when I was coming of age, drag queen was a disparaging remark. Now the term drag queen has taken on a different kind of meaning. It's not as disparaging, I guess. You tell me. My name is John Epperson, also known as Lypsinka, and I am 64 years old. I was born in 1955 on April 24th, the same birthday as Barbra Streisand.
Hello, I am Bobbie Hondo, and I am 25 years old.
I can't go on with the scene. I'm too happy. Mr. DeMille, would you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
I'm super honored and happy to be with you today. I've been such an admirer of yours for so long, and I've gotten to get to see a couple of your works, and so it's really a pleasure to be with you today. I came to New York in 2011. I was about 16 years old, and I was just a student, and actually, to me, to be honest, drag was like something I shied away from. I remember having a friend saying, please come and do drag with me down and at a bar, and I had said, oh, that'd be the lowest moment in my career if I ever did drag, because my God-given talent is dance. Movement is really where my strong suit is. The one act that I'm known for right now is I walk on these oversized champagne bottles on pointe shoes and platforms and like pumps. So that's one thing.
You walk on champagne bottles?
Yeah, on, like tiptoeing across them.
Well, I had a similar experience. Similar, but very different. I saw drag shows in Jackson, Mississippi at the local gay bar. And I enjoyed it, but I thought, oh no, that's not for me. That would be a low point, like you said. And the first time I saw a drag show at the gay bar in Mississippi, it really scared me. And I didn't go back for over a year. And I knew that I was seeing my own future, and it frightened me. And then I saw, it was either in Time magazine or Newsweek. This would have been in the 70s when people still read magazines. There was an article about Charles Ludlam and the Ridiculous Theatrical Company. And they were doing Camille, and he was playing Camille, and his chest hair was showing on the top of his dress. And that was a big deal. And I thought, well, now wait a second, you can get in Time magazine, oh, but you've got to get to New York to do that. It's not going to happen in Mississippi. In Mississippi, drag was stigmatized. But in New York, it was considered theater, it was considered art. I wanted to be slick. I wanted to be very professional. However, my first ever public lip syncing probably was pretty messy. It was at a place called Club 57, which was the precursor to the Pyramid Club. It was in a basement of a Polish church. And if you were a member, you got a newsletter each month telling you what was going on. And in the newsletter one month it said, if you want to be in John Sex's show, Acts of Live Art, Volume 4, let him know and call this phone number, and that number was his home number. I called the number, and I said I want to be in the show, left a message for him, and weeks went by, I didn't hear from him. And then he called me the day before the show and he said, I want you to be in the show. You're going to be in the show, right? And I said, but you didn't get back to me. And he said, oh, but I need you. Well, I hadn't planned anything, so I had to throw it together, throw together a couple of looks, learned a couple of numbers that I was kind of familiar with already, and I did it. Well, that was the summer of 1980. And I went to Paris, and I went to a club that's still there in the Pigalle district. It's called Michou, M-I-C-H-O-U. And at Michou, the waiter comes, he takes your order, and food arrives, and 30 minutes later, the waiter is on stage in drag as Liza Minnelli, or Edith Piaf, or Josephine Baker, or Zizi Jeanmaire, lip-syncing. And I thought, okay, well now, Charles Ludlam plus this, that could lead to something. So that's when I really started seriously thinking about lip-syncing.
Getting to see people like you, you brought drag to so many interesting places. Like I think the first time I ever saw you do that runway show, I thought, wait, drag can be like that? You can do that? The way that I had seen it growing up was in my small local town bar, and it was really boring kind of stuff, Then I heard drag queens could do Paris catwalk shows, and I was like, wait, wow, what do you mean? And that, helped me shape my creativity and where I could possibly take it. He was so astute to a situation like this, and he kind of told me, you need to go to New York. You need to go to New York. You need to go to Greenwich Village, because I guarantee you will find yourself there and you will blossom from this, and don't worry about it, but keep going. I went back to Texas, finished school, and it was hard. Having to deal with AIDS, going to high school, I became, oh my gosh, it was abusing substances left and right. My family didn't understand me, no friends could understand me. I didn't understand that I would become this crazy nut. So I needed to come to New York to save myself, to be standing here with you today. And so when I got to New York, I got the proper care. I was able to meet like-minded people. I had to go find and seek people who could give me the knowledge to help me understand my life, where I came from, where I could go, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's why I was really fortunate and lucky that all the queens in town, young, old, all came together and have helped rehabilitate one of their own. And I've helped just as much, I'm so lucky for it. I feel just super blessed.
So in a way, that guy in Seattle, the director of the ballet, saved your life.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and I never understood what he meant by it until almost a decade later, of him being you gotta go to Greenwich Village, you gotta go to New York. And yeah, it was hard. It was a hard journey to get to New York, and at 16. But I figured, hey, I already got the worst of the worst. Might as well. It could only be up from here. And I had really also great parents, who were super supportive as much as they could be.
Where do they live?
Back in Texas.
In Texas?
Yeah.
Where in Texas?
El Paso.
Oh, in El Paso.
Yeah. I was crazy obsessed with the history of it. I learned so much from drag. I don't know why. I guess just because they were outwardly feminine people. So that's just, I needed that kind of knowledge. I don't know, my kind of timeline on what I understand their drag history to be is that, you know, before Lee Brewster, you couldn't even dress up as a girl, or you couldn't dress up as a boy, you couldn't be anyone else, because he was a part of that after Stonewall, like that post-Stonewall group who was changing all the city ordinances, because it was a time to be illegal. There was a time when it was illegal to be in drag or to be gay in public. And then you came along and then switched the whole game up with a whole bunch of other people by creating like these crazy characters and having these super developed acts. I mean, like the thing that you do for Dial M for Model, or, you know, Taboo's like Psycho 3, like I think like, gee, you guys worked it out back then. I mean, it was like nothing ever before, and it would usher in kind of what we know drag now. And that's why I've been able to progress in my career, because I've had people like you to look up to and to take it somewhere different.
In the early 80s, I decided that I would march in the Gay Pride Parade. And I don't know what it's like now at the end of the parade, but back then, if you wanted to march, you know, just get at the end of the parade, and there was a large group of people, just people who wanted to be in it. And I got a lump in my throat, I remember doing that. And then in 1989, I was asked to be a judge in the parade. So I sat on a stand in front of the big library on Fifth Avenue at 42nd Street and did my job as a judge. And then in '92, I was asked to be in the parade. And that was a lot of fun, to be in a convertible going down Fifth Avenue and like that. Well, this year, I was a spectator, and I went to watch about the first half hour of the big parade. And I got that lump in my throat again that I got being at the end of the parade in the early 80s. But there was a euphoria around the whole event, I thought. And I did go to the other parade, which they're calling it a Queer Liberation March, and that started at 9:30 in the morning in front of the Stonewall Inn, and I walked from there all the way to 28th Street with the group. And that was wonderful too, because it felt not so much like a parade, it felt more like a political protest. And with the current administration that we have, which seems so contradictory, you know, the president will tweet that he's pro-gay and acknowledge gays, and yet he's making policies that seem to be anti-transgender and anti-gay. So what is he thinking? Who knows? And because we don't know what he's thinking, there are moments when you think, oh, things are going to be better, but then you think, oh, things are not going to be better.
I agree. Though I feel like this is the perfect time for us to mobilize and to unite and to get these things passed to protect our rights. We know it can be done because Lee Brewster did it. I mean, he kind of gave us the right to, for future generations to just roam free in drag, and that was a big victory for us. And I urge people to go out there and take rights for yourself and for others, because it is a time when we have the world listening to us and willing to make change.